What's up, people? Welcome. Oh, I just hit the table. Welcome to GP Snakes. My name's Gershon. This is another episode of Under a Thousand Podcasts. It's a podcast where I talk to other reptile breeders and reptile enthusiasts on YouTube, and we just talk about our snakes and it's a little bit of YouTube stuff. What's the stuff they use to make their videos and all that good stuff. Yeah. Before we go on, shout out to Rashad at 212 Exotics for being my first guest on the pod. Definitely appreciate it. Go check him out. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel. Check him out on Instagram. I'm wearing his merch because we talked about it. I didn't have a shirt, so I had to get a shirt from him. But yeah, go check him out. Thanks again, man, for coming. Also, if you don't know, we're doing 1,000 subscriber giveaway on this channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're giving away a spinner VPI Xanthic male. 50% pos pied. 50% pos pied. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll do a video and all that, and then you will be able to entry into that giveaway. I got jumbled there. I forgot what I was going to say. But without further ado, let me introduce you to our guest this evening on the pod. 1 second. All right, we have Daryl and Holly from Exquisite Exotics. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I think I did that seamlessly too.
That looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I tried something a little different, guys. So if it did work, great. If it didn't, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I greatly appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Glad to be on, man.
Appreciate it. So we're just gonna get right down to it because I don't want these to be too long, but sometimes we get to talking and you know how that happens. Mm-hmm. But let's get into the first question. So how long have you had your YouTube channel?
You answering or mine?
Me.
Yes, Holly, answer.
Okay. About 3.5 years, I think our very first video is the Hamburg, Pennsylvania, because it's a couple hours from us, Hamburg, Pennsylvania pickups that we did. That was our very first video, and that would have been in like the fall of 2017. So about 3.5 years now.
Okay. We got a couple comments. Let me see. Top of the Moon Reptiles, what's up? Thanks for coming. James, hey, how you doing? Oh, so 3 years. I technically started I think I've had this actual channel for like 10 years, but I wasn't doing reptile stuff on it. It was just a YouTube channel that I didn't do. I just used it to watch YouTube, basically, you know, like most people do. I didn't start actually doing stuff on this channel maybe 5 years ago. I think I started doing reptile related stuff because it might have been longer than that. I don't think of it. 7 years.
Wow. Oh, wow. A lot longer than us. A lot longer than us.
I wasn't doing. Because I got a ball python like normally. Then I went right to a red tail boa, and then I went right to a green tree python. I just went all over the place. All over the place. First time keeper was like, I'm just getting everything. And I realized I couldn't do that. I had to kind of condense it and get certain things and find a niche in certain things I liked.
You know, we were going to start originally only breeding crested geckos, and just kind of the ball python thing kind of happened organically. We weren't expecting to, like, at the beginning to breed that. It was clearly our only idea was we're going to breed crested geckos, and that was it. And then ball pythons just kind of happened.
Well, I think you got pets.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, nah, we need more and more and more. Yeah. So you know how it goes. But,
100%. That's what my wife was like, wait, how far are we going with this? Because we started out with 2. Now we got 10. Yes. We had so much conversations about that.
Right. So you still have your green tree python?
No, he actually passed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He passed. I don't know what actually happened. I thought he had a respiratory infection, but he had a little bit of bubbling, gave him medicine. He seemed to be doing better. Ate a couple times. And one day I came in, he was on the ground, and I've seen him on the ground before, so I didn't freak out. But then I went over to him. He's very cage aggressive. Went over to his cage, opened it up, was going to clean it out, didn't move. And I was like, oh, buddy. And yeah, he had gone. So I've yet to go back into green trees. I actually had an emerald that died too. So I yet to go back into arboreal species because I do love them. They're not as hard as people say they are. Once you know what you're supposed to do, easy as pie. But they are they're interesting.
They're more prone to carry things that you don't want in your collection, like Nido.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're going to get one and you have ball pythons, because we've thought about our next breeding project being GTPs, but you really have to set up a solid quarantine, multiple tests for everything that come into the collection, and you got to make sure that it's not near anything else you have, just to be safe, because you don't want to pick up something that's going to wipe out your entire collection.
Very true.
It's maybe not talked about as much as it should be, and people kind of are like, yeah, it happens, but you hear about it. You see these people who like lose whole collections, and it happens more, I think, than people realize.
Yeah, I have definitely been more on top of quarantining when I get new animals in the last 2 years, just because I've seen people collections get devastated by something super simple they weren't expecting. And since the Nido virus has just kind of come back out of nowhere, because you didn't hear about it 2 years ago. It really wasn't talked about that much. Yeah. Lately, it's just been on everybody's mind. So I've been kind of being a little more protective. It's especially at this point where I've gotten almost 30 plus snakes, that could just devastate you. And yes, these are animals that we do care about, but it's also for some business. So you're trying to protect both aspects of it. Yes. I know people hate talking about the business aspect, but let's be real. These are not funded by flowers. Just it's money. So you got to protect that.
You're saying your snakes don't eat rainbows?
No, they don't. As much as I tried. I gave them rainbow Skittles, gave them Reese's Skittles. No go. They get very upset about it too. So I tried though.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question. Your favorite morph, codom and recessive.
All right, I'm going first.
Okay, sure.
Codom. So for myself, I cheated. I'm not picking one. So if I go straight, just by them themselves. But bamboo. I think bamboos are gorgeous. So by itself, if I was going to pick one codom, I would pick bamboo. If I'm looking for what codom do I want to put into my animals, what do I want to pair with other stuff? What am I looking to get into projects? I would say probably Enchi. Okay. I think Enchi does the most as far as codoms for brightening, cleaning up, cleaning up the pattern. I really think Enchi does a lot. For recessives, I would have a year and a half ago, I would have said pied, and I would have said pied probably up until that point. And I still absolutely love my pieds because I think everything that we make, if you make it a pied, it looks better. There's nothing that they think you oh, this looks really cool. And then you're like, how could you make it look better? We'll make it a pied. And then it's going to look better no matter what.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you.
But more recently, I have been leaning towards Desert Ghost because I've always wanted to make, when we're doing our pairings, I want to push towards stuff that looks good as an adult. Because I always say that, listen, it's great they look good as a baby, but these are ball pythons that could live 40 years. Do you want it to look good for the first 6 months, or do you want it to look good for the next 39 years? Right? So I want an animal that looks good as an adult, and a Desert Ghost does that. Everything that's Desert Ghost looks fantastic as an adult.
It does. It does. I am starting to fall in love with Desert Ghost. I wasn't too much a fan of Hypo. At first I liked it in Enchi. I like everything in Enchi. But I was like, I don't like it in other stuff. Desert Ghost, I like it in other stuff so much. It's definitely the recessive I need to get very soon. But yeah, I'm 100% on that. Desert Ghost is becoming my new favorite recessive.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I'm so glad we got into the Desert Ghost Project stuff when we did.
Yeah, you guys had that that incredible clutch with all pieds that are 100% Desert Ghost, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So we picked up. So what happened is, unfortunately, Doug Knacker from Hissy Fit Reptiles was getting out of the hobby, and he was selling his whole collection at the time. And now I'm glad to see he's back.
Yep, he's back.
But he was selling his whole collection, and I literally called him up and I was like, "Listen, man, I want everything Visual Desert Ghost you have. What kind of deal would you give me for it?" So we bought all of his Visual Desert Ghost stuff he had.
Wow.
Which wasn't a lot. It was 2 females, a super pastel Desert Ghost female, a straight Desert Ghost female, but both breeder size, so ready to breed literally right away for us.
Okay.
We picked up his Soul Sucker Desert Ghost, which was a world's first. So we have that now. And then we picked up, he had a Lemon Blast, Yellow Belly, Desert Ghost. So pastel pinstripe Yellow Belly Desert Ghost male that we picked up too. So that male we bred to
straight pied
to just get double hets. And that's the clutch where everything came out pied. And we're like, what's going on? And the only conclusion, because everything was either pastel, yellow belly, or pinstripe, and that was a virgin female, so she hadn't bred to anything else that we raised up. So we raised her from a baby, so we know she wasn't bred to anything else. So the only conclusion is that he's had pied. And then reaching back to Doug, he bought him from JKR. So, anything from Justin, you never know what kind of hidden.
Exactly. He has so much stuff in his collection. It's just he's surprised when he hits stuff because he didn't know he had it.
Yeah, like, everything's possible for something.
Wow, that is amazing. Oh wow. So Holly, what are your Kodam and the recessive favorite?
Kodam for me would probably be the pinstripe. I do like the I like how it has that, the pinstripe, if you will, and then also how it has like that kind of spattering kind of look to it. So I think it makes a lot of things look really good. We ended up getting from that clutch a pinstripe pied, and I just think it looks great just because it has that specific look with the pied. So, to me, I think that's what looks good on with other jeans. So as far as Kodam, I'm going to, I guess, be the same, though kind of a cop out with my recessive and say pied, but I think it's just because I like spotted pieds, and we have one spotted pied, and it's only a few spottings, like a few speckles on there on her. Okay. So, but I would love to get more. I know I could just use a Sharpie, but just kidding, of course. But like,
so I would like the spotted with the high white or spotted with low white.
With the high white, because I feel like it adds a little bit to it. But I like pied in general. Like, I don't really prefer high or low. High is nice, but we have a high white banana pied, and it's just his head and his tail, and like the rest of it is white. So it's very, you don't see the pattern. So I like a good mix of it. So.
Okay. I'm a fan of pieds. I have a couple. My first was albino, then it went to clown. Now it's kind of going to Desert Ghost. So I still love albinos. I'm starting to like lavender albinos too. I have a lavender albino. I just love opening his cage and staring at him. He's amazing. Kind of a dick, but amazing.
The very first snake I ever wanted to make when we started getting into this was an albino pied. I was like, my goal was going to be an albino pied, and now like we're still working towards albino pieds because I'm not going to not do that, but our goals have like totally shifted now. They're going a completely different direction.
Yeah, I get it. That's what happens. Sometimes you get some stuff in your collection, you be like, oh, that wasn't the plan, but now it's definitely on the page.
Yeah.
You got to be able to adapt. It's all about being able to adapt.
That's so
since I guess that's our last question. So we'll save that for the last question. So do you guys breed or buy your snake food?
Buy.
Okay. What's the decision for that?
We did a whole video on that. On
why, a while ago,
why we buy versus why we breed.
I watched that video. It was a really good video. It was really good.
Thank you. So the short version is, if you look, so we do try to, run this kind of as a business. It's not just a hobby for us, though it's not been a, super profitable business yet, but we're getting there. We're making headway. It takes a long time. Anyway.
Yes, we had to explain to our accountant that it's like livestock. You got to build it up like you can't just...
explain to your accountant year after year why you keep showing that you're not making any money as a business. They don't like that.
That's why I haven't got one yet. I just have a wife. She does that.
Yeah. Right. So the short version of it, though, is, one clutch of snakes. We'll just say you have a clutch of eggs, right? A clutch of eggs, let's say you get 6 eggs. And you say each one of those animals on average costs or sells for maybe $200. So a clutch is worth like $1,200. Easy math, right? I could keep one snake and make $1,200 a year, or I could breed a whole bunch of rats to save $1,200. So my options are breed one extra snake, or take care of, let's say a rat cost $1, maybe. Smaller ones less, bigger ones more. So I could breed 1,200 rats throughout the year and take care of 1,200 rats, or I could take care of one extra snake. So if you look at it that way, it's much easier.
I see. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's much easier to take care of one extra snake to buy the rats we need, rather than taking, or you call it 2 or 3 extra snakes, rather than taking care of thousands of rats to feed everything. We have, at any given time, we're thawing 50, 60, 70 rats a week, maybe more. Some weeks, like in the middle of the breeding season, it can get over 100. That's 400 rats a month we're going through. So in a year, that's, 400 a month times 12 is 4,000 or 4,800.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm not a math person.
I was trying to do it. I was like
4,000. 4,800 rats. 12. 400. Like almost 5,000 rats a year. So I could take care of 5,000 rats a year, or I could take care of a couple more extra snakes and just buy our snake food.
Well, I will, at least for me. Okay, so that's the math side, which is totally great, and I'm glad that you think that way. But we've done pickups at rat facilities, and just seeing the amount of space that they've needed to. And granted, they're doing that on a much larger scale. They're not doing it for personal breeding; they're doing it to sell. But just seeing the size, or even when we do our pickups, and we're meeting our current guy that we pick up the frozen or the lives from. It's just a lot more space, and we just don't have the space right now either. I don't think. Yeah. I mean, sure, you would figure out, again, a math way to figure it out in the room, but we just don't really have the space for that either at this time. And it's easier to get a big cooler delivered to the house, or just go pick it up and do it that way. And we did, like we said, we did the one video, not just the video on why we do breeding versus feed from another breeder. We did a video a long time ago on why we choose the rats that we choose.
I remember that video.
Pro, Lane Labs, Cold Blooded Cafe, and something else. And we ended up for a while we were doing Road Pro just based on the price, but now we have like a private breeder, not like private for us, but just like a local breeder. That's a good
exactly. So I gotta commend you guys' comparison video on frozen companies. That was a great video. I really liked it. You guys went very in depth, gave all the information on each company. It was really good. Like I was in the process of switching Rat Guy, and I was really considering all the companies you were talking about, and that gave me a better insight on them. But then I found a local guy, and I was like, I'm going with you.
So then that also is a big part of why we don't breed our own, is we have, we have several local people. So like if we were live somewhere where there's no local rat breeders, clearly we would be breeding our own, right? That's the only option, and you have to. But we have a lot around us. In fact, just recently, Boyd's started breeding rats a half an hour away from us. So yeah, like so even
I didn't know you guys were that close to Ozzy. Wow.
Yeah. We've actually picked up from Ozzy, like just went and picked up like.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Like
I would love to pick his brain on the industry and everything.
I should clarify. He had his friend bring it for a local pickup. It is a guy who we used to buy rats from as well, who also is always at Ozzy shows. Eric Martinez, who was like
he's
always in the booth with Ozzy at like 10 and stuff. Yeah. So like I bought the snake from Ozzy and he's like, I'll just give it to Eric to give to you. And
he's like, I don't meet up right now. You see me at a show. I don't just meet up yet. We got to get a little more familiar before that happens.
But he is relatively close to us. He probably only lives 40 minutes from where we are. Tops.
Oh, nice. Nice. What's up, Dre? Thanks for coming. What's up, LKB? Pythons. Yes. Desert Ghost. Underrated. People are kind of sleeping on it, but it's starting to pop. Ridiculous Reptiles. What's up? Thanks for stopping by. Let's get into the other question. What camera do you guys use to make your videos?
So we use a Canon M50, EOS M50 for our videos, and then for doing like pictures for like Morph Market, it's just a cell phone. I have an LG ThinQ that I use. And that's it. So super simple. I think we bought like there was like a Canon creator kit at one time that they had where it came with the camera and a mic and
I've seen those kind of bundle packages. I was close to buying one. It was like about $600, and I was like, I think I could spend that on that. And then I was like, I'm just doing everything on my phone. Why did I don't need to spend that money? I put that into snakes. Yeah, and that's where it went.
Yeah.
Snakes and racks. That's where it went.
Snakes, racks, and that sweet ultrasound you have.
Yes, I actually got yelled at today from my wife about it. I think I forgot to tell her I got it, but she was in her mind. She says as long as the snakes are paying for it, I can get whatever I want. And I've held that to her. I was like, I'm just making sure the snakes pay for it. You said I could get it. But in her mind, when she heard ultrasound, she thought the one you see at the hospital, that giant machine.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, no, we don't have an ultrasound in our house like that. Don't be ridiculous. It's the size of a laptop. It's not that size. And I'm not going to lie, I love that I have it. It's let me know a couple different females that I can just try to get back on feed because they're not going to go this season, and it'll let me know a couple females that I need to make sure the certain male I want to produce with them gets in there. So glad I got it. Glad I got it.
It's one of those things we need to get. Like we just every year we're like, well, let's get some more racks, and we need an ultrasound, but let's get this other stuff first.
Yeah, it's always a pick and choose. What are you going to upgrade? And you guys have been doing great upgrades. I've seen the sink upgrade, the fan upgrade, really good. I know I want to do a sink upgrade, but I think we're going to move from this house, so I don't want to do it to this house because we're not going to be here. But yeah, I definitely want a bigger sink to be able to put the whole tub in. Yeah,
that sink upgrade is probably one of the most useful upgrades we've done. Like, it is so nice. And then that big sprayer nozzle that comes off the top. So you can spray stuff down.
Like restaurant grade sprayer.
It's so nice. So nice to have.
Yeah.
Webstaurant? Yeah. Webstaurant. It wasn't that.
Yeah, Web Restaurant.
Web Restaurant.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, I just used a watering hose hooked up to my sink. I use it in the snake room to mist down the snakes. It's just easier to do that without a watering thing. But I do want to put a filter on it. I don't know if the snakes get affected by regular water, but it wouldn't hurt to have filtered water just to be safe. So that is an upgrade. Oh, do you? Yeah. Did you see any difference from non-filtered water to filtered water?
No, I mean we're on a well system. We're not public water, so we don't have to worry about like chlorine and chloramines like most people do.
We do have a lot of sediment and stuff just because of the area in Maryland that we're in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, well water, it's not as concerning, but you know what? It's one of those things where it doesn't hurt to filter it. So we're we're going to do it. Yeah. I mean, like,
well, he used to have saltwater aquariums, so he was used to filtering water to get to that like purity. So we already had a system kind of available.
Yeah, we did
you were already in practice doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we did like a weird downgrade, right? Because you wouldn't want the same level of purity of water for a saltwater aquarium that you want for your snakes. It's actually too pure. So we're making RODI water, which is like 0 TDS, really crystal clear, perfect, nothing, no contaminants in it water. You do not want to just feed that to animals. Like, that's not healthy. You don't want it all the time. So we actually kind of downgraded my saltwater system just to make like slightly less pure water.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you know all the science of it. Like, I'm definitely coming to you when I need to purify my water. 100%.
He likes to research a lot.
I may be over researching a lot of things.
There's nothing wrong. Knowledge is always power. There's nothing wrong with getting knowledge. You can't get too much knowledge.
You know, I've sometimes done that whole like, here we go again. But at the end of the day, it's worth it because things either, even if not everything's going to work every time, but you've researched enough that it does well. So
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
And Ridiculous Reptiles, yes. Web Restaurant is also where we get our deli cups from.
Yes, you guys were the one I asked about that, and you guys sent me that site, and I've been on that site a couple times.
Yeah.
I end up getting ARS bowls. And I got a big box. I didn't think the box was going to be that big. I've yet to run out of these. So once I do run out of them, I'm going to go to that restaurant website and get more. Yeah.
Super useful. And we use them for shipping geckos too. So we need extra deli cups.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So side question, this wasn't in it. Do you guys use deli cups with your ball pythons too, or you guys use snake bags?
Snake bags for the ball pythons, deli cups for the geckos.
Okay. Pretty cool. So what got you guys into geckos? I know this is not one of the questions, but I realized you got geckos, and I've never had a gecko. I've had lizards. I had a wild caught lizard. I had iguanas. I had water dragons, but never a gecko.
So this is going to be a long... I'll try to make this as short as possible.
Do what you do. We got time.
So I was at one point debating career change. And one of the things that I thought about was becoming a herpetologist. And then I realized I do not have the time in my life to go back to school to become a herpetologist. So we were trying to figure out things we could do with animals that maybe be like a partial career, maybe a retirement job, like something we could start now and then have ready for when we retire to kind of do in retirement that has to do with animals. So we thought I've kept exotic pets like my entire life. And I've always had a passion for reptiles specifically. Now, I've kept all kinds of exotic pets, but reptiles have always had like a special place. So we thought, well, let's breed reptiles. And then when we were looking at what kind of reptiles to breed, we wanted to breed something that we thought was pet friendly. And that's what led us to crested geckos, because they make such good pets. Because we weren't necessarily looking to sell to like a pet store, but we wanted to sell stuff to people that make good pets, which is also partially why we got into ball pythons, because we're like, let's breed a snake that makes a good pet. You got corn snakes that make good pets. Ball pythons make good pets, right? So kind of our core of what we started with was we wanted to start with animals that make really good pets. So that kind of led us to crested geckos and then later ball pythons.
Nice. Thanks, Celtic Reptiles, welcome. Splash Pack Reptiles, welcome. Yeah, you heard her. There's only 8 people watching, only 4 likes, so let's hit that like button, people. What did he say? Ridiculous Reptiles. Oh, wow. He just gave a breakdown of cost of deli cups. 50 elsewhere, 25, 40. Yeah, that is a nice amount. Yeah, because ARS... they're a little pricey for their deli cups. They do give, I think it's only 500 in there, but it is kind of pricey because they do ship too. But if you guys are looking for deli cups, what's the website?
Web Restaurant.
Go check that out for your deli cup needs. They have a lot of them too. They have a lot of different styles too. So you can get what you like.
I think it's because it's is it wholesale? It's wholesale restaurant equipment.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So James D, you asked preferred stat.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
assuming
that's what
thermostat. So herp stats. That's what we use. We use.
I
all
like
herp
charisma.
Haha, dun-dun-dun. As I wear my team shirt.
Sorry.
This one's just a dump stat. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's not. Totally.
Didn't there used to be one called Helix?
Thaco? You're thinking of Thaco?
Maybe.
So long ago in like second edition Dungeons and Dragons. Oh my gosh, I'm aging myself.
Yeah, I use herb stats. I'm actually trying to buy another one, but they're out of stock right now. Out of stock of all of their kinds. But I have, is it Vivarium? I can't pronounce that word very well.
Vivarium Electronics.
Vivarium Electronics. I have a couple of those. They were good. One shorted out, but it was my fault. I did a terrible wiring job on some heat tape. Always check your heat tape. Always put your tape around in electric tape. Use that. Be safe. Or get a professional to do it. Don't listen to me. That's why I don't do heat tape wiring on my racks anymore. Like, show you how I do it. Because I don't want anybody to blame me for their house burning down. God forbid. So I'm like, hey, you do that on your own. I'm not going to give you tips on it because I don't know if I'm doing it right either. So
listen, it's one of those things where when we started doing our first own heat tape, I was like, well, we could just crimp this with pliers. And I was like, nope, I'm going to spend the $100 to get the special tool to make sure it's crimped right because I don't want my house to burn down. Like, it's the best $100 I will ever spend to make sure I don't burn down my house.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Part of me is thinking about just going ambient tip to make it a little safe because even when you do everything right with the heat tape, it still can burn itself and start a fire, unfortunately.
And thermostats can go bad and they can get stuck on and they can make your temperatures go spike and you can kill everything, or your probe can go bad, or your probe can just get knocked off. And like there's so many things that can go wrong.
So many things. I actually need to get a fire extinguisher in the snake room itself just to have it just in case of an emergency. That was something I thought about like 4 months ago and kind of slowly getting around to it, but I need to get back on top of that. I procrastinate too much. But I need to get on top of that. That's what gets me every time. Usually most of my videos come out on Thursday every day. I am shooting that video sometimes Thursday morning before I go to work, or at least are at work shooting an intro because I just like, I'm gonna do it later. And then later becomes then, and I'm like, I don't got time. I got to do it. So that's what I'm working on. That 2021, working on my procrastination. That's the goal. That's the goal.
I'll do
it. All right, let's go to this. The second from the last question. That was a good one, Holly. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, he got me.
Good. I'm glad. I'm sometimes funny. It's okay.
I be trying to get you to talk more in the videos. I'm like, Daryl, stop talking. Let Holly do it. And he looks at you. You be like, I got nothing.
Well, because you see, he talks so much that I'm like, okay, I can't think of anything.
It's like you said everything. You didn't give me a part, Daryl. I was ready, but you didn't give me my part.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened.
It's 100% what happens because the planner here is like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then he just rolls with it. And then I'm like, okay, night.
He always is like, you got something to add? You said everything. What am I adding?
I love it.
All right. So what editing program do you use to edit your videos?
Shotcut, because it's free.
I like it. I've never heard of it. What is it on? Is it on Windows?
Yeah, I use it right off my computer.
Okay.
If you just search Shotcut, basically it's like it's a free open source video editing software. So like anybody can go in and add to it and add code. If you're familiar with what open source is, basically anybody can go in there, right, and update the program. So it's just an open source video editing software.
Nice.
That gets pretty regular updates, and honestly, I'm not doing anything super fancy. It does everything I need to do.
Yeah, true. I was using, what is that called? It was like VSDA, some video something, and it had a lot of features, and I was like, this is awesome. I'm not using any of these features. I need 2. So I downgraded to KineMaster, which is on my phone. I found a way to not have that watermark, so I don't have that watermark on mine. But yeah, I just need to be able to cut stuff. I need to add some words, put some music on. I'm not making a Hollywood movie. I'm just trying to entertain.
Yeah, if you ever try to want to like do stuff on the computer rather than the phone, check out Shotcut because there's no watermark. You don't have to worry about any watermark from the company or whatever. It's just freeware.
Nice.
Completely
nice. Free. For those out there looking to start editing videos, Dre, I'm looking at you to do YouTube. Shotcut. That's what you need to go look up.
Yeah, definitely. And what's really nice too is if you just YouTube how to do something, like if you don't know how to do something with the software, just search in YouTube like how to do this in Shotcut. There's 20, 30 videos will show you how to do that thing. So like
you can do that with anything. YouTube, anything. YouTube has been teaching me stuff for the last 7 years. It's like, why do we need school? We got YouTube. I mean, I guess you kind of need school to interact with people because we're social animals.
Man,
but
people are overrated.
YouTube it. I say that all the time. I tell people I love people from a distance. And they always say, you're funny. And I'm like, back up. They don't get it. They don't get it.
No, but I was being curious.
Exactly. They don't understand. So we have our last question. What is a dream morph you want to make or did make?
So for me, I always loved the panda pied, but I didn't like the deformities that could have come with the super black pastel. So I've always wanted that, but I mean, I guess some people can say like, you know, the big controversy with Spider, and it's like, well, I mean, people do it and they're healthy and fine, and it is what it is, and if you don't want to do it, you don't do it, and it is what it is. But I feel like with the panda pied, it's a lot more common to have either abnormalities, deformities, issues that might not make it or whatever. And I don't want to do that, but I would love it if there was a way to do that without having that. So there's the dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
That deformity thing with that morph is it is a lot worse than Spider.
That's what I'm saying. Like some people might be like, well, people think, Spider's bad and they do it anyway. Well, no, this isn't the same.
Exactly.
If you choose not to do Spider, like that's fine. Like that's because you don't want to do that, and because you think that the head wobble and everything. Like, but it's way worse. And so my dream would be to more have that, but no, the extremes that it is.
Yeah. Isn't is it mahogany they're trying to see can do that with?
Black with it.
Yeah. To get it black.
I think they're playing around with mahogany.
Okay. So it might be a workaround to where you still can make that panda pied. It's just a different panda pied. It'd be like a North panda pied. So what about you, Daryl?
So I'd love to make, and I don't even have all the genes in my collection to do it, but our collection to do it. But I would like to make an Exanthic Desert Ghost pied because Desert Ghost, like a straight Desert Ghost, is really close to white and black already. As an adult, right? If you just look at a straight Desert Ghost, no other genes in it. And then if you put the Exanthic in there, I'm thinking that will get it that extra little bit of black and white it needs. And then put the pied in it. Like I said earlier, everything's better with pie. So I think you could get a all black and white snake, or at least really close to all black and white with like splotches of white from the pied. And I think that would be a gorgeous animal.
Yeah, I've never even thought about that.
Yeah, we have no Exanthic in our collection, by the way. So like I'm really far from that ever happening. But I think it would look great.
You say that, but then you're a lot closer to pied Desert Ghost out of a surprise. So that's
true.
You never knock it. You never know what might pop up in your collection out of nowhere.
All of a sudden we pop Exanthic out of our collection, I'm going to be flabbergasted.
Oh yeah, that is a huge surprise. A gene you don't have at all, not even a het anywhere to just pop up and be like, "Hey, I'm around." No,
we had that happen.
Oh wait, didn't you have that happen with
Cryptic?
Cryptic? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, and we're still trying to figure that out because that male is a butthole and he just gets too scared of women, I think. And
So he doesn't want to rebreed with that same female. So last year we tried and they did not produce a clutch. And this year they were locking at the very beginning of the season and now they've stopped. And the one we produced is a female. So we got 3 years to wait for that. So we still have to prove that actually is Cryptic, but we think it's Cryptic.
Yeah.
And it was the lone survivor out of a 10-egg clutch, 7 of which were slugs, 3 which made it to the incubator, 2 went bad in the incubator. It was the lone survivor out of that clutch.
Wow.
And it shows up and it's just like that looks, everybody who sees it's like, that looks like an ultra male Cryptic because it was ultra male to ultra male. And it does. It looks exactly like it, but we haven't been able to prove it yet because we can't repair them. Well, we have tried, but they won't go again. Waiting to prove that.
Yeah, but we got that from a gentleman that it was the only 2. He had 2 ultramels.
The male.
No, he had the male and our hypo ultramel. And he was like, yeah, listen, I bought this guy's collection and we were just starting to get into ultramel at the time. So we're like, okay, let's take a chance on these 2 because they weren't from the same clutch or anything. So we knew that we could breed them together and be fine.
Mm-hmm. No, we didn't. They're never the ones that bred together.
No, I know they're not. But I'm saying when we were buying, we were thinking that. It was like, okay, well, it would be okay to breed them together because they're not siblings or whatever. And so it's cool. And
the female came from Marshall Mendez, he does a lot of GTP stuff.
Okay.
But he does ball pythons too. And I called him up and I was like, hey, have you ever had Cryptic pop out of your collection? He's like, no. And I'm like, well, FYI, it might be in there.
Yeah.
And Cryptic, one of the first places it was found was in ultramel stuff. Ultramels and clowns were the 2 things that it kind of showed up in first. So it's not unsurprising that Cryptic's in there in our ultramel stuff. It's just like we weren't expecting it. We didn't buy them as heavy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I kind of had something like that happen with my clown clutch. I hatched out a clown inchy that was super light, just looked exanthic, and I got the clown male that I used to produce the female that he bred back to and produced those babies from Garrick DeMeyer. So I called Garrick DeMeyer. I was like, hey, did you have exanthic in your collection? And he was like, yeah, I had 3 different lines of exanthic, but I only used one line at one point and I got rid of everything. And I showed him the snake. He was like, yeah, that does look exanthic. He said, give it a little more time, see if it colors up. It did color up a little bit, but he said that it's an issue where heterobinos have sometimes where their color will be white when they're first born and they'll slowly get a little bit of yellow as they age, but they won't look like the normal morph they're supposed to be because of the heterobino, which indicates they might be 100% heterobino. So I got to raise that girl up and see if she proves out. But I was I thought I just hatched out a $6,000 snake by accident. I was so excited. I told my wife, we're going on vacation. We're about to go through a whole bunch of stuff. Nice. And she was like, hold on, slow down. What are you talking about? I was like, don't worry about it. I'll give you the money later.
That was our surprise pied clutch, by the way. We're both like, all right, well, Ferraris all around.
I love it.
That's the first and only video that you swore in.
I think so.
Is it? Yeah, you were like, what's going on?
What the is going on here?
And then he's like, oh, sorry.
Oh, wow.
Listen, Top Moon Reptiles, if we get the surprise Exanthic Desert Ghost Pied clutch, I'm going to quit my job.
Yeah. That would be incredible.
Buy some lotto tickets.
Ridiculous Reptiles. I didn't know it had a pin code. Do you know about the Herbstat pin code that allows no one else to change it?
There's a security setting. You can go into the settings and then inside of security and lock it out so people can't change stuff.
Oh, wow. I have to learn that then because I didn't know it had that. I didn't know it had that. You guys have a lock on your incubator, right? No, you have the alarm that lets you know the door is open or let you know that the temperature
Like
drops,
as soon as the temperature drops a little bit, it does go off.
Yeah, we do. But that's just through the herpstat itself. We have what we have though. I think what you're thinking about is we have an alarm that goes off on our phone if the room temperature goes out of sync.
Oh, okay.
From the Apex?
From the Apex system, yeah.
Okay.
So like if our room temperature goes way above or low, but we are going to install one of those into our incubator too. That is one of the plans this year. Is we need to get a second incubator built, and when we do that second one, we're going to install an Apex for both. That gives us like text and phone alerts if either one's temperature goes out of whack.
Okay. So are you gonna DIY build or buy an incubator?
Just buy. We're going to DIY the incubator. We have another. Fridge with a glass door that we're just going to turn into one. Yeah.
So I'm in the I have a beer fridge that I can DIY with, but I've been looking at incubators and I'm like, maybe I should just buy an incubator. And it's a lot cheaper to DIY this one than go buy like $1,000 incubator. But I'm hesitant, but I also seen sensor push. I'm thinking about getting that so I can get updates on temperatures and stuff like that. So what system do you guys use? What was it called?
It's called an Apex. It's actually for saltwater aquariums, and I've repurposed it to work. So basically, the probe that they use for temperature for saltwater aquariums, it can be set out of the water. It doesn't have to be under saltwater. It works in the air too. So I've just repurposed that to use for keeping our room temperature, and I'm going to do the same thing for the incubators.
Okay.
It's not a cheap system.
It's not cheap. Okay, never mind.
It's not a cheap system.
That's why we used to use it for the saltwater aquarium, and he was like, "Well, we can't get rid of this because it's too much." So
what I will say, what I will say is it's a very good system that has a lot of features, including the ability to know if you lose power. So like, hey, I've lost power at my house. I need to go check on my incubator. It alerts you if all of a sudden it just can't connect to it, like if there's some kind of internet connection. It has a lot of useful features. It's very well supported. It's been around forever, so it's very trustworthy. For me, it's expensive, but it's our clutches. It's the most valuable thing we have. It's a piece of mind. Yeah, right.
It gives you 100% peace of mind.
If anything is important to make sure it's okay, it's the incubator.
Yeah, I'm in the process of. I've been talking about doing it for a year or so now to get in a generator, just in case the power goes out. I need a generator that can at least run my space heater in my room to keep the room at a certain temperature, and that can run the incubator if there's eggs in it.
Yep.
Is your incubator using a herpstat?
Yeah.
So when you buy your generator, tip of the day, make sure you read the actual manual for your herpstat, because you have to buy a very specific type of generator for it to be able to run a herpstat. Because I'm going to misspeak. It's the sine wave. I forget which one it is. There's one that you want and that works with the herpstats, and there's one that doesn't. And we actually have two generators. We bought one specifically that has that right kind of electrical output to be able to work with the herpstat, and then we have a regular ordinary generator, but it won't, which we would use for like space heaters for like the reptile rooms, but it wouldn't run a herpstat. So just make sure when you're buying your generator, read the manual for herpstat. It's going to tell you what kind of generator you need to be able to run it.
Okay, good tip. Yeah, I did not know that. Oh, wow. Oh, looks like I might be buying two generators. Because I could buy a little generator for the incubator that runs on that certain generator the herpstat needs, and I could just buy whatever generator for the heat, the room heat, because that one runs on anything.
And that's basically what we did. We have a big one that we can use for like room heat, or to run like air conditioner. We have a portable air conditioner if it gets too hot, or we have the little one to be able to run the herpstat on the incubator specifically.
Okay. Yeah, Ridiculous says spider web models have Wi-Fi. Wow.
Yeah, so that's a new herpstat they came out with.
Okay, I've been seeing that one.
My theory is anything that's new that controls the life of my animals, I wait about 2-3 years till it's been tested before I am going to buy it.
Yeah.
Which is why
I understand that.
Yeah, which is why we use the Apex, because it's been around forever.
Which is why you won't let me get a Tesla.
Which is why we're not getting a Tesla. Actually, Teslas have been around long enough now that I feel pretty confident in them. But
did you hear about that Tesla that was self-driving and they say crashed with two people that killed two people? One was in the passenger and one was in the back seat. And Tesla's like, no, the self-drive function doesn't work unless there's somebody sitting in the front seat. And it turns off less than 30 seconds if there's nobody's there. People start sending videos of Tesla's driving without people in the driver's seat way more than 30 seconds. So like, no I'm way. Like, oh, what's going on, Tesla?
No, I didn't.
No, I haven't heard about that.
But I remember like years ago, the woman that sued the RV company because she put it on cruise and went to the bathroom in the RV. And she thought that it crashed. And she thought
I remember that.
You remember it?
I remember that story.
She thought that like, well, I put it on cruise. Like that means it's just going to drive, right? Like, no, you can't just do that.
That's almost as bad as people following GPSs into rivers because it says the road there. Right. You can see there's water. What are you doing?
Right. It said turn now.
Yeah.
No matter how much technology we have, it does not help people that are stupid. It's just the way it is. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
But yeah, back to the web versions of the herpstats. My general rule is first year of anything coming out, don't buy it in the first year. Because like if you ever watch, like I'm a big car person, so if you ever watch a new car, like they redesign a car, and then the first year that redesign comes out, it's like recall,
yep.
Right? So, but then the second year that car's out, they were all great. So never buy the first year of something new.
Oh, the same thing with consoles. When you buy a console, the first generation, it always breaks. You get the red ring on the Xbox. The PlayStation had some weird, the fan would overheat and blow your stuff up. But that second generation, butter smooth.
Yeah. You always wait till it's like you've been out a year and they work all the bugs out. Because inevitably, here's why, because I work in design for a living. So inevitably, when you're going through and deciding you're going to make a new product, you look at all your costs and timelines for building this product. And the first thing people get rid of is the prototype stages. They're like, we don't need that many prototypes. That's going to cost way too much money to do all that and take way too long. We want this to come out sooner. So get rid of the prototypes. It'll cost us money. It'll be out in the market faster. So it doesn't get the testing that it needs for like everything. It's everything.
Yeah. So I have these two questions weren't on the list. One is just a basic question. How's your season going so far?
Average for us. So slow.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing everybody's seasons kind of slow, but I know you guys usually have late season anyway, which I kind of do too. So I'm like, welcome to my world, people.
Right.
So we have 2 clutches in the incubator. We have a third one that will be laying. She just did
her pre-lay shed 3 days ago.
Yeah, so she'll be laying at the end of this month, give or take. But May, June, and July are our big ovulation months where we have our most of our ovulations. So we're just now getting to the point where we would typically start seeing ovulations, a lot of them. So I think we're breeding 23, 24 females, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark.
That's a lot. Ooh, that's why you need that second incubator.
When you,
that is why we need a second incubator.
I was say it sounds like a lot, but we might get about what?
Yeah, maybe half, because a lot of them are first year girls. We have a couple males that tend to just not lock, that need replaced, but we don't have a second backup male that really fits in well. So probably get 12, 15 clutches somewhere in there, I would guess.
See, you just gave me another question mathematically, because you're the math one. What is your male to female ratio? What do you think is a good one for ball python breeding itself?
We don't put any male to more than 4 females.
Okay. So
at a minimum, we would have at least 1 male per every 4 females. Now, we have more males than that. We don't have every male like going to the maximum. But for us, it's no more than 4 females per male. So basically, we go on like a 2-week rotation. So we don't have a ultrasound yet. So we're going off of just rotations rather than watching full size, right? So, and a lot of people just breed their males with their females once a month. We breed our males with our females twice a month. So, so we're going on a 2-week rotation. So every male, he'll go with, let's say we'll have 4 females. We'll call them female 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Mm-hmm. So male number 1, or the male is going to go with female number 1 on week number 1 and female number 2 on week number 1 as well. So he's going to spend half the week with one, half the week with the other. Weekends off. So that's only like Monday through Friday. And then he gets Saturday and Sunday off. We feed on Sundays. On week number 2, week number 2, he's going to go to female 3 and 4. And then on week number 3, he's going to do female 2 and then female 1. So the same females he got in week 1, but in reverse order. And the theory there is that we follow is that because the female goes with one female, or the male goes with one female first, his sperm count for the second female could be lower, right? Because he's already locked in that week. So the first week we put him with one of the 2, and then the next week they're together, we swap those.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
So week 3, it's female 2, then female 1, and then week 4 is female 4, and then female 3.
Okay.
And that's the rotation, assuming he's going to 4 females. If he's going to 2, we may do both of them in 1 week, and then he gets a week off, or we might just split it so he gets 1 a week. It depends.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that rotation is going to change when you do get an when you do get an ultrasound?
I think that we'll breed more on follicle size than we do on just palpating and that
visual cues
schedule and visual cues. But I mean, to be determined, right? Like right now, this is a very successful way for us to breed. The females that we're breeding at the beginning of the season that we're pretty confident are going to do most of the time. So, and we've only had 1 fully slug out clutch. And that was from a male that wasn't locking very well to that female. So our amount of slugs we get is fairly minimal, I think, compared to most people. And we have a pretty good success rate for the females that we think will go. First year breeders, of course, are so hit or miss that we never bank on them.
Exactly.
But the ones that we think are going to go at the very beginning of the season, we're like, hey, there's no reason she shouldn't go this year. They typically do. So while we have success for that rotation, it's hard to justify changing it.
Yeah. I get it. That makes perfect sense.
Listen, breeding off of ovulations, we could reduce the number of females we need because a male could go to a lot more females if we're not breeding it as often to those females, right? Mm-hmm. So there could be an advantage there, but I don't know. Until we get an ultrasound, I really don't know.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Yeah. So you haven't had a lot of slugs, because I know I've had 1 clutch slug out, a couple slugs here and there, but it not as bad as people I've seen on other channels and other videos have slugs.
Yeah, we get them here and there. It's not a lot, and we've only ever had one clutch fully slug out. But again, that was expected because that male wasn't locking well. And the one we told you about, that 10-egg clutch with the 1 survivor with 7 slugs, that male wasn't locking well too. So there were reasons we could tell why it happened that we got so many slugs in those clutches. So it's been, from what we can see from videos, right? I think our slug count is lower than what I've seen other people getting.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's hard
because sometimes people don't tell you everything.
Exactly. Right. Like we show every clutch, so you see everything. Yeah. The good, the bad, you see it all. So other people hide the bad.
True. Which I understand to an extent why, but it also creates that illusion that you're doing something secret-handedly. And people tend to feel that out in you, especially when you do it on the video. We're like, oh, I can't show you that. And you're like, whoa, why I can't show you that? I'll talk about it later in a video 2 years from now when I figured out why that happened.
Yeah. It's some people, we show all of our projects, and some people, Gershon, keep secret mails for a year.
Oh, that hit me. So if you watch the videos, I actually put a clue in every time I showed that super pastel. I put a clue in that video of what mail was going to her. Nobody noticed it, so I'm gonna just say it right here. I put because I'm a big cartoon head and I like adult cartoons. Adult Swim was one of my favorite things. What is it called? The Venture Brothers. There's a character on the Venture Brothers that's called the Monarch. I put his picture in her tub. It's not you have to look real close. I kind of dulled the opacity of it, but it's in there. So exclusive, the Super Pastel was bred to a het Monarch. So I'm going the long route to get Monarch, to produce Monarch.
Did you did you get it from Tom Harbin?
Yes, I did. At the time, I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get a het male and work it slowly." I should have got a het male and a het female. That would have been a better route because he didn't go that first year I got him, and he was up to size. He was a little small, but he was producing sperm plugs. He just didn't lock with any females. He was in there with them. One girl might have been a little big for him, but the other girl, decent size for him, just didn't lock. So that happens.
It does.
Yeah.
Listen, just admit you can't pick out Easter eggs.
Yeah, we looked at getting Monarch stuff at one point. We didn't, but we had looked at getting some Monarch stuff.
Really good looking. So.
Yeah.
So what made you go Ultra Male instead of Monarch, if you don't mind me asking?
So we had the Ultra Male stuff before we even thought about going Monarch.
Okay.
Yeah. So we thought about going Monarch, and then we were going to make a sizable investment into Monarch, and decided that it would be better spent to upgrade our facility where we were actually working in. And we put in new AC units and finished the area, and so we decided it was better spent elsewhere.
And then you turn around and then Desert Ghost happens. So
yes.
Kind of
yeah.
Which is also a great investment.
You know what I'd really like to get though is some Monsoon into our collection. They're so good looking. They're so good looking.
Monsoon Sunset is my two that I would like to get, but I know I need to produce some stuff first, sell it, and make money off to be able to invest into that project the right way I would like to, and not get killed by my wife. The way you have to do it. But yeah, Monsoon, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Amazing. It has so much potential with so many things. Wow.
I'm interested to see how strong of a gene it is, right? So Clown is so overbearingly strong. Yep. You put it into anything, it will almost overwrite anything else you put in there, right? Yep. Now, of course, you can change it, right? I'm not saying it can't be changed, but it's a very strong gene, and there's a lot of them out there. And I'm interested to see how strong the Monsoon is. Is it going to be such a strong gene that no matter what you do, you don't change that patterning, that speckling at all, or is are we going to find a gene that works with it where you can get some variation in the pattern? Because I think it's strong and it's gorgeous, but if all you can do is change the color, I think it's going to be real limited in its value. Versus if we can find some genetics that really will alter the pattern. What happens if you toss Clown to Monsoon? Is Clown a strong enough gene that it will overwrite some of that pattern? Or something like genetic stripe. Could you put a stripe down the back of it? Because if you could put a stripe down the back of a Monsoon and then start getting color into that stripe, that could be a real strong combo there.
Yeah.
That'd
be real good.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Splash Pack, you're bragging. No one cares about your 5 clutches. Calm down. No, she knows I love her. I still want that Clown I sold you back. She's beautiful. She looks so good. Oh wow. Ridiculous Reptiles. I didn't know that you could put your email address on the temperatures. I didn't know that. So you could use the email for the herb stats?
The new ones. There's new Wi-Fi.
Oh, the new ones. Okay.
Yeah. There's ones we're not going to buy for at least 1 year, remember?
True. I might be buying the sensor push. I have the other censored thing, I forget what the name of. I won it in a giveaway from. Oh, I'm gonna forget his name, and that's not good. I'm terrible with names, people. You guys know that. I forget half my own snakes' names. Morph Nation Reptiles. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I should have remembered your name. But I want to get Censor Push to have something to let me know where my temperatures are, just in case. A notification, just to be, so I know if I'm at work, if something goes off like, hey, I got to go home. Something's dying or something's overheating. I'll clock out, whatever. But yeah, I'm working on that.
Yeah.
Secondly, Dre, you do need to put your logo on your YouTube so we know who you are. Get on top of that. Yeah. So before we head out, I was wondering, last question, not on the list, very easy question. What are any tips you have for people thinking of starting a YouTube?
Thinking of starting a YouTube.
Well, at least reptile YouTube related in that sphere.
Holly, I'm gonna let you go first because Gershon says
I was about to say Holly. I was gonna say Holly. You go first before Daryl uses all the good answer.
Well, just in our experience, you do all of the editing. So I'm unfamiliar with that. So take that in mind when I know you work hard on that and everything. So take that out of the equation right now. I think consistency is key. I think that think about it. You know, reptile channels. I mean, we have one Brian Barczyk, right? We have one that's like in millions of subscribers, viewers, things like that range. There's not a huge niche for that. So we're already going to be getting less views and subscribers and things anyway. So I think consistency helps. I think if you drop off for too long, you're going to have disengagement and it's not going to work. And I think that, jazzing it up every once in a while helps too. I think you and I starting to talk more kind of like on a personal level kind of helps. Maybe not. Yeah. Maybe nobody cares and it's fine.
No, it's great. I like you guys. When you guys are bickering, it is adorable. It works so well. It works like so well.
That's literally
our life.
And you can tell that's just you guys' personality. Yeah. And when your personality starts coming through your YouTube channel more and more, people latch on to that. That is a huge thing. Let your personality show.
Big things to be true to yourself. I mean, yes, we try to keep professional.
Yep.
We don't do some of the jokes that we would do.
We got kids watching. Don't say that.
Yeah, exactly.
But just consistency, be genuine, know what you're talking about. I'm definitely not going to open up if I don't know what I'm saying. It's like I want to know what I'm saying. So or what I'm talking about. And yeah, I guess that's probably about it. I think that like kind of what you were saying, if you're likable, I think people latch onto that. And there's certain YouTubers I watch non-reptile related that I just like their personality. And, so it's just, I'm not saying I got a great personality. I'm just saying that, if you could do that, I think that works. You got anything?
Yes. Bam! Hit him with it.
Yeah, I do. The difference between us is I do. Always. I'll always have something extra. Set out with a goal and know what your goal for your YouTube channel is. And I don't mean like number of subscribers, but if you're a hobbyist and you want to use it to connect with other hobbyists, build your channel around that. If you're trying to use it for a business and you want it to be better marketing, build your channel around that idea. If you like to share information, right? Like you're a person who likes to share information with other people, build your channel around that. If you are a person who just likes making videos and communicating with other people through video rather than on forums, know what you want out of your channel so that you're working towards at least something and if you're progressing towards that goal. Because if you make a YouTube channel and you're like, I want to have 1 million subscribers, I wanted to market my business, I want to be the best DIY person out there, and you just try to make it the jack of all trades, you're never going to feel like your channel was successful. But if you set out specific goals, you can measure your successes against those goals.
Yeah. I'll add to that. I love that answer. I would say add like attainable goals, small goals to large goals.
Yes.
So you can see yourself slowly increasing in your abilities. Because people, I just got one of my friends, Man's Morph. He's gonna be mad at me. I'm gonna have so many people mad at me. Man's Morph Creation channel. Go check his channel out. He's been talking to me a month or so about starting a channel. He's like, what do I do? What do I do with this? And I was like, make small goals. First just do 1 to 2 videos in a month. And then slowly, once you get more comfortable, try to put another video out and then try to get on a schedule. So don't try to do it all at once. Small goals and build.
Absolutely.
I love that.
There's an image I share with people all the time that like demonstrates that. Basically, it's 2 people both standing in front of a ladder. One ladder has I need to get on camera. One ladder has like really small steps and rungs on it. And the other ladder, the rung starts like up here way above the person. And this shows the importance of small steps, right? You can't climb a ladder if your step for your first rung is taller than you are, right? So it's important to make those small goals and make those small steps, because if you make the first step to a point where you can't even get to that first step, you're going to fail no matter what. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree.
Perfect. All right, guys, that's all I got. I didn't pop up any mind questions while we were talking. I know I did that. That was a little weird, but yeah, this was great. I got information that I wasn't expecting to get. Learn some stuff. Like I say, you always can learn something new, even if it's you're putting on your socks the wrong way. But yeah, thank you guys for coming on the show. Appreciate it so much. Anything you want to say? Oh, before I say, go subscribe to their channel. If you haven't subscribed, go check out their channel. They have Instagram, Exquisite Exotics, all over the place. Go check them out. They just put out a for sale video. I just watched it earlier today, and I was like, ooh, I like that. And I was like, hold on, that's not a part of my projects. I can't just go buy stuff.
For Taz Exotics, just search Exquisite Exotics on YouTube. You'll find us.
Okay, yeah. It'll probably, I'm going to put it in the link of this video after the live stream is over, because you can't do it while it's going weird stuff. Or
if you can't find it, you can go to our website, www.exquisiteexoticsllc.com, and it's got links to Facebook, YouTube, our Morph Market, Instagram, all the things.
So I just came up with a question. How do you guys like having your own website? Did you make it yourself? Did you buy a domain? How did you do that?
She made it.
Oh, Holly, come on, this is your time to shine.
Well, we used Wix to get started. Okay. It's user friendly, very user friendly.
Okay.
I mean, we do pay for it. Was there a free version when you looked it up to see which one was the best one?
There is free Wix, but it's typically for like bloggers and not for like
yeah. And it's not. I mean, I don't want to say it's not that much, but I like it because we put our breeders on there. We need to update it because I realized we didn't put this year's breeders on there. So it's all last year's that are on there right now. And we have more that we're breeding and some that we've sold because we just want to retire them. And it's, it's whatever. So I like being able to have that on there. I like that it links to our YouTube channel because you can because there's like a DIY section, and it was just easier to have a link to our YouTube channel. It's not a huge website, but it showcases what we represent, and it's got a little bit of about us on there, and kind of thing. And
I like it for 2 things. One, it allows us to give contact information. So if people are just searching for stuff, right, they can find us, and there's a contact page and all that stuff, which is really nice. But I think if you're trying to look like a legitimate business, having a website does that, right? It helps. It's not the only thing, right? Like reviews help, and but every little piece that you have on, like if you're trying to sell an animal, like, are you going to buy an animal from the person who just has a Morph Market page, or are you going to buy an animal from the person who has a Morph Market page, a YouTube channel, an Instagram, and a website, and a Facebook, right?
That's literally the reason why I started YouTube, so I can be able to sell animals and people felt comfortable sending me money.
So I think that just like a lot of things, just like social media, I think that a website helps market yourself.
Yeah,
I do think that at this maybe it's because I'm in my late 30s and I'm probably like old when it comes to that, but I think that social media is probably more of the
like we're all in our 30s, late 30s. And I was like, why was she saying it like that? We're all now.
I mean, because I feel like websites is probably like an older person.
You're like 30 going on 70.
But this is true.
I'm an old soul myself. I'm always in the house. I'm always in the house.
Right?
So it's like, why are we going outside? I have a house. I paid for it. That's where my stuff is. Where are we going?
There are people outside. I don't want to deal with those.
That too.
I can't nap outside. Like
I love naps. People, I hate that phrase. You can sleep when you die. No, you can't, because you don't enjoy that sleep. That's not good sleep. Jesus.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. I just feel like you say like the website makes you look more professional. What I'm trying to say is that I feel like a lot more people, or at least younger people, are probably looking more at the Instagram, the TikTok kind of social media part of it versus they might not really pay attention to a website. But I understand what you're saying about it.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's what
you guys need to get on TikTok. You definitely need. That's what I'm hearing out of that.
And I would watch all these dumb videos, and I would be over there laughing, and I'd show you, and you'd be like, that's not funny. And I'm like, no, it's funny. It's funny.
I've wasted so much time on TikTok. Like I was like, I'm gonna use this for marketing. I'm just sitting there watching videos.
Right?
I have like 6 TikTok videos that I posted up. I could have had so many more if I wasn't just watching other TikTok videos. Oh, it is a time suck. Maybe you don't need TikTok.
Because then I try to do like those. I don't do anything on there, but I try to imagine myself doing some of those stupid trends. Like that. Like, I don't know if you know the bus it. The trend where they I'm like, I will break my hip. Not gonna happen.
I told you she's old. Old person breaking her hip.
Plus, I'm too awkward. Like I'm too awkward to do that stuff. So anyway,
wow. Yeah. All right, guys, this was amazing. A lot more fun than I thought it was gonna be. Thought it was gonna be fun, but it hit a whole nother level of fun. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, absolutely. I feel like in a way, like this kind of thing was like it took way too long to happen. Not just necessarily like a live, but just interacting.
Because we've missed each other at Tinley like 3 times already.
We've been trying to connect.
Pictures.
We've been trying to connect at Tinley for the last 3 years, I think. Has it been the last 3 years? And we've always just missed each other. We were like, hey, text me when you get there. You text me when you get there. Hey, where you at? We're about to leave. No, I am going to stay another day. Yeah. Oh, every time.
Every time.
So this year, are you guys going to Tinley this year?
I think we're going to, yeah.
If it does happen.
Yeah, we're maybe in October.
That's the other thing, too, is I'm also in a wedding literally the weekend after. So I'm not sure, like.
Yeah.
If you might be going.
October to be determined. We want to go, but we might miss this one, maybe.
So, Dara, we're going to Tinley because Holly's going to be in a wedding. That's what I heard.
Yeah, sounds like it. I think it's one of our close friends. I think it might be important that I show up as well. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, I guess friends are important.
Yeah.
They get mad when you don't show up to things.
Especially their weddings.
Yeah, big events.
Yeah.
Life-changing events and whatnot. Oh, jeez. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it so much. Yes. Hopefully we get to see each other at one of these Tinleys.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thanks. See you later.
Thank you. Man. Good night, Gershon.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. There we go. Our guest this evening, Daryl and Holly, Exquisite Exotics. Hope you had fun. We're about to end the stream. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping by. Don't worry if you missed it. You can watch the replay. You also can listen to the audio version in 2 days. I'll have it up on Anchor, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Google Cast, whatever podcast app you use, you can finally find it on there. Just search GP Snakes under 1,000 pod, and you can watch it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, it's probably over on that side. Or if you haven't gone to check out Daryl and Holly's channel, go check out their channel, hit their subscribe button. Splash, you better hit me with some pictures. Let me see that girl breeding. Oh, she's so pretty. I want an offspring. I'm letting you know now. I want an offspring when you get some babies. And I want a female clown. I'm just saying out there. But yeah, thank you guys for checking out the stream. Greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next Thursday.